Hey, speaking about taking things for granted, you know, there's everyday activities that a lot of us take for granted. In Pretty Prairie, Kansas last week, I had an opportunity to see someone who doesn't. He lives a selfless life, always looking for opportunities to help someone else. And even though he may have some limited physical ability, it doesn't slow him down. You're about to meet Ryan Winget, professional steer wrestler's best friend.
I went to Northwestern there and Stockton Graves let me on there and I helped him, and that's how I kind of really got into bulldogging a lot, you know, helping them young kids get good. And I helped out a lot in the wrestling and stuff like that, and I loved it. You know, I really did. And that taught me a lot about just being able to take a dedication, you know, because it takes a lot of dedication to be a wrestler and to be able to do it, you know. It really does. And a lot of people don't understand the dedication that it does take. I got some disabilities, you know, but I dang sure that's one thing I was always told. I'd never walk, never talk, never do anything. I may not walk the best or anything, but I dang sure don't let it slow me down. And that's where I try to show these guys out here, no matter what we get done, we can always load up and go to the next one and do it again.
Rhino, he's one of a kind. You could fall off in the arena and he'd be the first one to pick you up when you got out of the arena.
The reason we call Rhino Rhino is his name's Ryan Winget, and it's fitting. Rhino, he's just Rhino.
I first met Ryan Winget with Jewel Hazen, which is his cousin. He rodeoed with Jewel a little bit, Cheyenne and stuff like that.
His grandma and my grandma were sisters, and he had always come to Thanksgiving, and he always wanted to go with us rodeoing. When he got older, graduated high school, I asked him if he wanted to go, and he jumped in, and off we went.
I went with Jewel Hazen, my cousin, and 2013 was the first year I went, and then I've been going ever since with different guys. I've been with Stockton Graves, Tanner Mylan, Richard Anderson, Richard Chambers, Bryson Sechrist, Hunter Cure, Matt Reeves, Clayton Moore. Anybody that's ever let me jump in, I basically just went with him.
I got a call from him, and he wanted to come to school out there, so I said, you bet, come on. And people did call him like, hey, Ryan Winget's telling us he's got a scholarship for you out there to rodeo. I said, well, yeah, he does. So we gave him a scholarship. He came out, rodeoed for us, kind of coached for us. He's kind of my assistant for about 4 or 5 years there. Kept all them college kids in line. He was great for the program. He loved bulldogging, he loved calf roping. He'd get in with whoever let him in, he'd get in. And I mean, everybody in the PRCA today will let him in their rig and go with him. He's been with me 2 or 3 summers.
What Rhino does to help us is get steers' heads, and like when we were rodeoing, we might have a late night drive, and next morning he would do everything he could to sneak out to feed the horses, carry water buckets. Like he would carry 2 5-gallon buckets, half mile.
Warm my horses up, you know, feed, water, whatever we need to do to get down the road, you know. And it's a team effort to make it down the road, and that's kind of what I try to do, is just make sure we can get down the road.
I mean, he's a true worker. Helps in every which way he can.
The one thing I love about Rhino is you won't find a person that's A, more positive, or B, more of a team player. For instance, today if we were a little bit running behind, hadn't checked our draw yet, I see Rhino when we walk up, he hops on my Hazen horse, starts exercising the horses, getting them loose, while we run up and check the draw and get our fees paid. So that's the kind of guy he is day in, day out. I truly value a friendship like that.
It's something I think that he would love to do. He loves horses, he rides all the time. He worked on the racetrack, and he enjoyed the camaraderie of the bulldoggers and now the calf ropers. He enjoyed the camaraderie of rodeo. Rhino likes to help about everybody in the steer wrestling in the PRCA and some of the calf ropers, which we give him a hard time about. His determination is he doesn't want sympathy. Like, I don't know how many times he'd fall down and I'd try to help him up, and he would chew on me or kick me like, no, leave me alone. He doesn't want sympathy, and he's just determined to be one of the guys. I do have one funny story. When I was trying to teach him how to drive a stick pipe speed pickup, we were going to drive this pickup. I needed to get back to my house in between rodeos. So I was telling him to let out on the clutch easy, push on the gas easy. His legs and feet don't work quite right. So he drops the clutch, floors it, and I'm running beside him, screaming at him, hit the brakes. And I mean, smoke and dust going everywhere. Kills the pickup, but when he stops, runs me into the door. I'm laid out underneath him, but he was panicked, thought he killed me. I thought he did too.
The thing about Rhino's heart is that it's huge, right? So he's had to overcome a lot in his life, and he does it in stride, you know? And, you know, he has overcome a lot of things, but he doesn't let anything get him down. He's just as stubborn. Yeah, man, he's done well. We're very proud of him.
Oh, I think everybody knows how good a kid he is and how willing he is to help anybody. And that's just Rhino.
Really, after you travel for a while, a lot of you guys come family with you too. You know you can always call them if you're ever in a bind or somewhere, and they'll for sure help you out.
That Rhino makes me smile. Boy, you talk about a pure heart and a selfless attitude. You know, life is not about making a living. Living and life is about making a difference. Hey, stick around.